This is in response to Dr. Paul Krugman's article in the New York Times on Friday, February 12th, 2016, Economic Stupidity. Now, Dr. Krugman is going to take it right to the Republicans, to our friends on the GOP side. But let's get into a little bit about what's going on right now and what has gone on. In 1992, the big thing was it's the economy, stupid. And at that point in time, right at the beginning, we thought that George Bush, meaning the Daddy Bush, was going to just rocket to the re-election in 92, because in 91 we had the first Gulf War and we blew them apart. And of course, I believe that his popularity ratings was up to almost 90%. And of course, it came down as we started to head towards a type of a recession. And it did become the economy stupid, and Bush couldn't hold on. And of course, it appeared as if he really was a little bit out of it, especially when he went in front of that grocery store scanner, and he didn't even know what it was. So, but it is the economy stupid. Now, only 8 years ago, we had the Great Recession. And it appears as if our friends on the Republican side have not learned anything about it. Now, right now, as we're going into further debates, further primaries, looking for the election in 2016, the economic situation is not great. Now, the United States has fared much better than a lot of other countries. But one thing we know, the Nikkei in Japan has just gone down terribly. In Shanghai and what's the other one, Hong Kong, their markets have gone down considerably. What we are seeing is that some of the golden things that were going on previously have been taking a big hit. Brazil has taken a big hit in terms of a country. China has taken a big hit in terms of another country. Economic loans to energy companies when oil was at $100 or $110 a barrel, are taking it up. Well, we won't say where they're taking it up, but oil was at $26 a barrel yesterday. It's come back some today. So we have a lot of bad loans out there, bad loans to companies, bad loans to countries. And I'd also like to bring in two other countries, which Dr. Krugman didn't mention, Venezuela and the Soviet Union, Russia, where again, I think Russia needs to have oil at $110 a barrel for them to be able to make enough money to run their economy. Venezuela is really, really hurting. And you have a lot of the, let's just say, the Middle Eastern countries that pump oil. They are a one-trick pony in the sense that that is the majority of their economy, is how much oil they can pump. So we got bad loans. We have countries that are in bad straits. The bond markets are giving a pretty rough signals to us in the United States. Interest rates are low, and that may sound good, but at the same time, banks need to make money, and they make it on the difference with interest rates being so low. They're not going to be making much money. In some areas in overseas, the banks are giving negative interest rates. So we're in a very precarious situation, especially coming up to an election year. And our friends on the Republican side basically have not learned anything from the Great Recession and in terms of what's been going on, not only here in the United States, but what's been going on in the world. They want interest rates to go up. And of course, we did raise the rates. The Fed did raise the rates just a little bit recently, and they hadn't raised them in a number of years, I believe up to about 6 years or so. And they're already saying, or they're already mildly indicating that they may need to readdress that right away. So, and of course, but the GOP is in la-la land. And everything that they are proposing, is really not going to help the economy in any way, shape, or form. And Dr. Krugman refers to this as economic stupidity. I would agree with that. And if you hear what the Republicans are saying, again, tax cuts for the rich, absolutely no regulation, to audit the Fed. Really, really stupid stuff that doesn't have anything to do with true economic theory, true economic process, how we can, and how we can actually get out of this precarious situation that we're in. And it may sound good, but there's nothing behind it. And remember, all of them, are even more in the tank to big money. And that big money is dictating to them what the economic theory should be. So it may actually help some of them, but it's not going to help the average working person. And this whole concept that the Republicans have any idea as to how to make the economy better is just ludicrous. I mean, you shouldn't be listening to a word they say about the economy. And part of the problem is that we are in a not great situation. We're doing much, much better than a lot of other countries overseas. And we need to stay on this right path. And if it means that we need to bring interest rates back down again to basically zero, then that's what we need to do. And going into the election year, the stuff that they're talking about, Cruz talking about the gold standard, really crazy, nutty stuff is not good for the United States.